too many to mention, but what springs to mind obviously is Oklahoma, which was Lynden Players' very first full stage musical, and I was very lucky to play Curly. And to show you how long ago it was, I actually had my hair put in curlers every night. So that was memorable because it was the first musical with a full orchestra.
My favourite show, favourite traditional show that we've done is The Importance of Being Earnest, because I thought the whole cast really got on. It was a really collaborative rehearsal environment, and then we put on a great show. I was really proud of it. I think we all did a fantastic job, yeah, I just thought for quality that was great.
The Importance of Being Earnest, which again was a really fantastic cast. It had a great director, the costumes were great, and also it's a hilarious play. I got to do the handbag line, and it felt like a real achievement, I think, to do that, such a famous role. And yeah, so they're the ones that I enjoyed being in.
Little Shop of Horrors, when I had my directorial debut.
You did, yeah.
And I loved that. I loved working with the team. I loved the energy everybody brought to that. It's just such special memories.
That was quite a job because we didn't know where we were going to get Audrey from. Not this one, the Beast. And we were told that a place near Coventry Airport was equipment and costumes for stage. And we booked one Saturday to go and have a look, and he got one. But we could never have got it on the Lynden Players stage, on the village hall. It was just too big. But I said to the two that were with me, I said, you keep him talking about costumes, I want to take some photographs of this. And I said when we left, I said, I don't think we can use it. It's just too much. And we stopped for a coffee on the way back, and I said, look, there's just no way. And they said, well, what are we going to do? I said, well, I'll build you one. There was a look of horror, and as much to say, are you sure? And I said, yeah. And we did, really.
Other shows that spring to mind, of course, are Singing in the Rain, where we had rain on the stage, Cabaret, where we performed it in the round, actually on the floor in the hall. Jekyll and Hyde, the first sung through musical, and of course my favourite would probably have to be Oliver. Twice, once at Cheney School and latterly at the village hall.
Mainly it was musical, so that stick in my mind, you know, sort of thing, and Oliver and all the lights.
Fagin as a character is so wonderful because he's both comedic, he's serious, he's nasty, but he has this love for the kids, and it's just a fabulous ensemble part as well as being a main character part.
I have enjoyed pretty much everything I've done. I have really enjoyed all of them. There are some standout moments, I think, with the shows. I really enjoyed 9 to 5. It was a fantastic team, and the girls just bounced off each other really well. Little Shop, again, that was really strong, was one of my favourites. And oh gosh, I like them all.
9 to 5, performing Dora Lee Rhodes, a character, you know, based on Dolly Parton herself.
Yeah,
that
you even had the chest to go with it. It was amazing.
I'd rather be remembered for my voice in that show.
I really liked, from the acting point of view, I very much enjoyed Treasure Island because I was typecast as the Spanish femme fatale. So I was Doña what was she called? Doña Estela de Torremolinos y Chimichanga one day. And as everyone knows, I'm a closet Spaniard anyway, so I really enjoyed that.
Well, The King and I, obviously, because it was something I'd always wanted to direct. I've loved the show since I was little because my mother took me when I was quite young. And I was fortunate enough to have an absolutely fantastic cast. I think the songs are brilliant. Everything came together in that show for me. The sets were brilliant, so brilliant that when the curtains opened, the audience clapped and cheered, which hadn't been done before. It was just memorable. And everybody was brilliant in it. Right down to the tiniest little one. She was 4. And I liked it because it was for everybody and the children could be in it as well. So it was a proper family show.
I think a lot of shows are really good because everyone kinds of come together in that sense. And sometimes rehearsals are dreadful, but somehow it works. Yeah.
So in early 2015, we put on Midsummer Night's Dream, directed by Katie Roberts, and it was a first for Lynden. It was my first show back in a little while, and we had loads of new people. I think it was something that our regular audience didn't know. They didn't know what to expect. They didn't know how professionally we'd treat it, but the feedback was amazing for it. I think everyone had a great time, and it was great to see everyone in the group starting to flex their acting chops and do something completely different. It was really good to see. I remember Jackie and her dog who she brought onto stage. Nikki as the wall was fantastic, and my 9 costume changes between Thisbe and Flute and Demetrius. But my favourite part of the show was the 4 lovers of the piece. We got to have a really great collaboration on stage, and we're the best of friends off stage, and that's a great thing.
I've got lots of shows that were really memorable. I think shows that I've been in that were really memorable were A Midsummer Night's Dream, because it was fantastic to do some Shakespeare, and it was a real challenge to learn the lines and stick to the lines. But it was a fantastic experience, and we had a lot of fun with the cast. We had a really good time.
My most memorable show probably has to be Singing in the Rain too, because that was 2002 and 2005, and it was my first kind of lead, semi-supporting lead, and I just loved the show. Anyway, I loved the film, and it was such a different sort of character to play. And I remember I didn't actually let Lena be shown in her full entirety until I actually auditioned. Nobody knew how I was going to speak or anything, and it sort of, their faces, I can still see it now. Martin Barber was the director, and when he said, right, would you like to sort of say your lines, and I just came out with, what do you think I am, dumb or something? And I think I got the part, just based on that one line.
For me, the most memorable show was South Pacific, because I was one of the ensemble and I loved all the dancing in that.
My favourite show to have been in is probably Dowager, because I got to be evil and vicious and capricious on stage, which is, my natural personality anyway, so therefore it was really good to get it out in that context. And then direction-wise, I think my favourite show would be Ushers. I mean, it's the one non-panto. I mean, I love panto. I've done 4.5 pantos in terms of direction now, and each of them have been very special in their own way. But Ushers, because it was a small number of cast and musical, there were 6 of them. Everybody was really, really invested in it. Like, it was the sort of show where you were keen to go to rehearsal and you missed it when you weren't there, and everybody was just so fantastic. And you know, there were challenges, as there always is, but at the same time it was fun, and whatever the audience thought or didn't think, we enjoyed it and we had a great time.
Yeah, I quite enjoyed being there. Yeah, I sort of, you know, people talk about being in touch with your feminine side, and clearly I was. I think Jill, my partner, she made the observation that I was channeling my mother, which was very true. And also one or two perhaps older members of the society as well. I also took some, shall we say, inspiration from.
I think for me it was Wizard of Oz because it was my first panto, and just having all the hair and the makeup that I had to have on, and it was just such a great show. I loved all the dances, all the green. Green's my favourite colour, so it was all very much a lovely play, and yeah.
But one of the big things was when we did the Wizard of Oz, getting all that ready. This one in the side room at a weekend and on a Wednesday night was painting the yellow brick road, which went from the front of the stage to the back of the hall, pulled out on a roller, and she had to paint all the yellow bricks on it. And there's a picture of it in one of those pieces, the yellow brick road.
And we put it on some tiles.
It was a roll of felt, roofing felt, because that would roll out easy. And this one had to paint all the different size rocks in
got
yellow.
the bruises, and it was only in 1986, I think.
Yeah, we did Guys and Dolls, and that's a very interesting situation in Guys and Dolls because again Martin Barber directed it, and at the first read through, bearing in mind it's a show with a lot of men, there was two of us, myself and Wally Jeffries, and I thought, how are we going to do this? But Martin miraculously managed to get a load of chaps, and we put on a fabulous production.
And the other one that's quite memorable, which I think Max will agree with us, is Cabaret, because Martin Barber produced that, and all these young things came to be in the cast, didn't they? Of all in their basts and everything, the idea of that. And what they did choose? Me, Max, I'm trying to remember who else.
Amanda.
Yeah. And it really was.
What he said was that the Kit Kat girls were not young, elegant, they were older women of any size, and that's what he wanted. And so he chose us. And I remember going home and saying to my husband, Martin's chosen me to be one of the Kit Kat girls, and I'm going to have to wear a basque and stockings and things. And he said, oh, I don't want you to be in it. So when I went back, I said to Pete Woodman, my husband doesn't want me to be in this show. So he marched me off to Martin Barber and said, Max's first husband does not want her to be in the show. But I was in the show, and he did come along in the end.
And we did have fun in that too, didn't we? Really and truly, we had real fun in it because it was so, for us older women sort of thing, to be in these costumes. And I remember I had to be in a gym slip for one of the things. And you know, you've got masses of makeup on, over made up sort of thing. And I looked and I saw my 3 children out there and they went.
Well, I've got 2 real favourites, and that was, the first one was Cabaret, and I played the old lady who kept the boarding house, Fraulein, somebody. I want to say Schultz, but that was the man, wasn't it? Fraulein Schneider. Yeah, and I loved it. I really did love it, because it was so emotional. Lovely. The other one was Fiddler on the Roof, which was excellent. And I played Golda in Fiddler on the Roof, opposite a little American chap who came in and played Tevye, Josh Hooker. And I had 5 daughters, Paula Smith, Rachel Aries, Shanna Wells, Maddie Robinson, all married with children now, Maddie Robinson and Wollstonecroft, Katie Wollstonecroft, yeah. who she teaches now, her mum, but she was my youngest. Lovely show. I loved everything about it.
I think my two favourite ones, I think, will probably Return to the Forbidden Planet and Bouncers. I think if you were to ask me why, Return to the Forbidden Planet was just such a great musical gig. It had a big cast, everybody got involved, the band were on the stage, and it was just a whole lot of fun, and it just really played with the whole Shakespearean thing. And then for Bouncers, that was just I think that for me, that was probably my most demanding, if you like, role, in the sense that it was 4 of us on stage for a whole full 2-act play. And again, that was great fun, really intense.
I think the most memorable must be Calendar Girls, because of the fun we had making it, and trying to work out the logistics of showing things but not showing things. Going back to Ben, he was the on the lights, and I think he found it quite embarrassing seeing his Auntie Nikki with next to nothing on. Yeah, and then making the calendar afterwards, of course, was good fun, because we had the fun photographing that. I mean, there was one moment, and possibly, I think it was Maggie Davies, so possibly she'll remember, when her flowers that were in front of her fell over.
I think that was the moment, wasn't it, where Ben slammed down the
Slammed down the
lights as fast as he could. It's more than a young man should be seeing.
Yes. Yes.